Now to a Target 12 Investigators exclusive, the cost of injuries.
We've discovered Rhode Island taxpayers are spending more than $30 million a year on state employees who are out on workers' comp.
And the data we reviewed shows that number has gone up 54% in the last 10 years. Target 12 investigator Tim White is here now with the exclusive details.
State employees who get hurt on the job may be eligible for workers' compensation benefits, which can pay up to 75% of their base salary tax-free. Our research found one group of workers are getting hurt on the job more than any other. In 2009, Rhode Island taxpayers spent $19.7 million on state employee worker compensation benefits. That number has been climbing steadily for years, up to $26.8 million in 2014 to $30.4 million in fiscal 2019. That's up more than $10 million in the last decade.
But we shouldn't see the numbers that we're seeing.
Director of the Department of Administration, Michael DBA, says the $30 million in worker compensation benefits does not include the amount of money the state spends to fill vacant shifts. Those workers are often in 24-hour operations like group homes and are sometimes forced to work overtime.
So this becomes a vicious cycle. If more people are out, we have to have more people do overtime, and the longer we push them and the harder we push them, the more prone they are to break down and have injuries of all different kinds.
Of all state agencies, the Rhode Island Department of Behavioral Health Care, Developmental Disabilities and Hospitals, or BHDDH for short, stands out more than any other in the number of employees out on workers' comp. In June, data showed 7% of BHDDH employees, or 79 workers, were out injured. Compare that to DCYF at 4% and the Department of Corrections at just 2%. BHDDH workers often deal with troubled patients.
We would expect there to be higher incidence of workplace injuries, but we think that the numbers we're seeing there are higher than they should be.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Why is that?
Because I just worked the job and could see how people would get hurt.
Jason Kane has been a community living aide for 20 years, a job where he interacts with developmentally disabled patients. He is also head of the local union for group home employees.
Well, some people are behavioral. They'll act out, they'll attack you. That could be dangerous.
Data shows the median time a BHDDH employee is out on workers' comp is 1 year. Nicole Bernard, attorney for Labor Union Council 94, says that time could shrink if the state wasn't so slow to approve medical treatments.
So what could be maybe only 6 months ends up taking a lot longer, at least in the past, and I'm hoping that that number will shrink.
So what's being done? In May, the state outsourced workers' comp benefits to Beacon Mutual. DBA says the insurer has the resources to move the cases along and conduct workplace training to try and reduce the number of injuries.
I'm embarrassed to say that we haven't, as a state, done that as much, and we could have prevented a number of these workplace injuries simply by training our employees or having certain processes with respect to, for example, disruptive patients.
An employee on workers' comp for 2 years can be terminated from their job, but that does not mean the state stops paying them. Right now, there are 315 people who no longer work for the state but are still receiving workers' comp benefits. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
This Target 12 Investigators exclusive is just getting started.
Coming up new at 6, Target 12 tracks down the longest running workers' comp cases in Rhode Island, including one state employee who's been getting paid without working for 3 decades.